So what happened then? After black played c5, white played h3, rook fd8, and you're going to see now series of absolutely aimless moves by white. b3, knight d7, queen b2, knight f8. Knight is heading to g6 because of weakness on f4. Queen e5, rook c8. White is absolutely controlling the d file, but the problem is there is nothing to do on d file, nowhere to penetrate. Queen takes, rook takes, king c2, king f7, a4, a5. At this point, I had a very strong feeling that black is going to win this game. Not because black is winning, because there is no clear plan for white. And you can tell that Anand is very seemingly nervous, very nervous. You can see by his face expressions, the way he moves pieces. And Gata was absolutely cool at this point. So Anand played bishop d2. So we're going to see now moves without any plan. Well, but there is no plan here. Rook a7, bishop c6, rook c8, bishop b5, rook c to c7. There is not much black can do either. Rook c to c7, bishop e3, h6, rook g1, knight g6, king d2, e5. And this move caught Anand totally off guard, because taking e5 pawn is not good, because knight takes e5, attacking both rooks at the same time, attacking d3 rook and check on f3. So, on the other hand, pawn is hanging on f4, and white's response is forced. Bishop e8 check, king takes e8, rook takes g6, king f7, rook b6, and another shot, very powerful, g5, taking, if white takes either one of these pawns, then they're gonna lose a piece. Same thing on the other side. So after g5, king e2, g takes f, bishop d2, rook c to b7. And here, Anand had to play bishop takes a5, which would lead to unclear position after rook takes, bishop takes, rook b7, a5, and e4. This had to be played, but Anand was not in position to make right decision anymore. He played rook b5, and after king e6, rook c3, trying to bring rook into the game through c1 and g1. After rook c3, bishop d6 was played, rook c1, e4. Black has an extra pawn and very strong center, and in a few moves, game was won by Black. I remember Anand was so psyched out that he played this position with a queen down until he got mated. He played to the mate on the board. That's what happened. And now, less than an hour later, supposed to start the next game, second game. And now Gata Kamsky is white, and he needs a draw to make greatest comebacks in the history of World Championship matches, candidates matches. And he has white pieces, and he already won last 3 games in a row. Let's go to the second game. And here is the second game. We have like 1 hour between end of first game and to the second game. We have practically 15-20 minutes to prepare for the game. And we decided to play conservative line because we need a draw to win the match. And Anand is in no position to force very complicated game and play it on a very good level because he is emotionally drained. He looked like he was absolutely disoriented and lost. So that's why we chose d4, knight f6, knight f3, c5. Highly unusual move for Anand, who likes the balanced either Queen's Gambit, to play Queen's Gambit, or to play Nimzo Indian or Bogo Indian. But here, he has to complicate case. On d5, he might have want to play Benoni, but Kamsky's choice, c3, was absolutely correct. And now Black cannot take, because that will lead to symmetrical position, which is unacceptable for this match situation. And what happened here, after c3, g6 was played, bishop g5, queen b6, queen b3. It's a bad alternative for Black to exchange queens. They have to win. So knight e4, bishop f4, and knight c6. That's a serious mistake because d5 was played. And now Anand went with a knight to d8. Well, going knight a5 does not look good because queen c2 and after knight f6, e4, and you see the knight that stands on f6, natural square, but it had made 3 moves to get there. Meanwhile, the other knight made 2 moves, but has very uncertain future on the edge of the board without any prospects. So Anand went knight d8. This is also very bad square for the knight. Knight bd2. Here he tried to avoid exchange of pieces. And after knight f6, e4, and after d6, Black is absolutely lost. Bishop b5, check, and on bishop d7, a4. Knight will go to c4 in future, and black's development is absolutely awful. So after a4, queen c7 was played, and after queen c7, white castle. Actually, game is over in next 4 or 5 moves. After castling, bishop g7, e5, knight h5, e takes d, and there white lost the castle, so they cannot castle anymore. And the final brilliant touch by Kamsky in already strategically winning position, knight on h5, knight on d8, no coordination in pieces, bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, and queen b5 ends the game, because if queen takes b5, bishop takes d6, and you see that black is absolutely lost with a pawn down and absolutely awful piece placement. And the queen is hanging. Queen cannot move because there is a checkmate on e8. And this is absolutely pathetic position for black. Anand resigned. I don't think since early childhood, maybe since he was infant, he played game any worse than this. And that's what happens to chess players. We are humans, and sometimes we do play games on a low level due to circumstances. Anand's explanation, it's no excuse, but it's an explanation, was that he suffered severe defeat in last 3 games in a row, and in a 4th game he was in no position to offer any resistance. In this position, black resigned, and Kamsky made the greatest comeback in the history of World's Candidate matches. Thank you very much, and you have a good day.